Hey, 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 good morning, good morning, good morning. Thought we'd start off a little bit early this morning. How everyone's doing? Whoa, Andrew is up. He must have gone for his run already. Good morning. Let's pin up Friday. We have training, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's free. And anything that you want from me, Jack, good morning, my friend. Just email me at david@dmeltzer.com. You're welcome to join my text community, get updates on what's going on. 858-688-32. Oh, so close. 949-298-2905. It's early here. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We got questions already coming in. Samir, good morning. Colleen, I know you're up. Good morning. Jake is even up. Wow. Any tips for landing a job interview? Absolutely. So, number one, the secret to getting a job interview is to be more interested than interesting, is to align your capabilities, your skills, knowledge, and your desire with what's doing well today and being able to articulate that. And the key to a resume is like a cold call. All you want to do is get them to call you back. All you want them to do is give you an informational interview, some sort of interview, some sort of screening, whatever it would take in order to transition that interest into a shared vision or a true interview. That's all you want to do. So your resume is to stimulate interest. So make sure it's credible, it has an emotional attachment aligned with the capabilities that you have and what they're doing. Hey, Chris, he's there and he's ready. All right, let's bring him on. Perfect. Our friend Chris Emmy here, Chief Revenue Officer. Oh, there he is.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Is that a golf course behind you, or where are we at?
No, it's just the backyard, but it's nice and green and lush here in Connecticut.
In Connecticut, yeah, it's so beautiful in Connecticut, especially this time of year. Anyway, you're building tools for guys like me. The
Mike,
micro influencers that aren't the Kim Kardashians of the world, but are figuring out how do we monetize our brand and support our communities as well. And so I thought, what a great thing. I don't think people realize the size, scope, and scale of the communities that are out there and the need for someone like you. How did you first come up with the idea?
yeah, no, I appreciate the time to speak to you and your community because you're exactly right. We're focusing on the creator, and the creator comes in many forms, shapes, and sizes. And just because you're not Kim Kardashian doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have high quality, engaging content and should get your fair share of revenue as a result of it. So Sue actually started about 5 years ago. And the first iteration of Sue was very successful. They raised a bunch of money. They built a phenomenal platform. And for a number of different reasons, the company ended up, I think that it was mismanaged, and the company ended up going bankrupt and sort of shutting off in the very beginning of 2016. A series of investors and operators, including myself, kind of like purchased the asset out of bankruptcy and have been basically spending a majority of 2019 spinning it back up. So we launched June 15 in our alpha testing version, and we've had a lot of success. We've ironed out a lot of bugs. We've onboarded a lot of users, and we've learned a lot about the modern day content creator, which is different than content creators even 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So, there is a level of professionalism that exists in content creation today. Tools like IG Live and also meme makers and filters and all these different types of tools allow everybody the opportunity to create content in the palm of their hands.
Yeah, and I think, part of it too is the 4.4 billion people that you can reach, and that people don't understand that everyone has their own fingerprint. Everyone has their own frequency. And as you talk about these creators, I think it's one of the things that has allowed me to accelerate my audience was to stick to who I was and realize that, there's people who open little kids' toys and have millions of people who enjoy that. And
Right.
so if millions of people enjoy opening children's toys, there has to be a segment of people that would enjoy pursuing happiness, or empowering other people, or other things that are inherent in my own mission and in my being and my frequency, which doesn't apply. I always tell people, I go, I'd be more than happy if 99.9% of all people on social media didn't even know who I was, or I'd even be happy if they didn't like me, as long as the other ones love me. Right.
Well, that's true. And so it's a double-edged sword. So one is, if you build it, they will come, right? You'll find an audience. Gone are the days where the only form of distribution was ABC, CBS, and NBC, right? So now there's a whole different set of distribution that's available to everybody. But with that comes both supporters and detractors. And I think that that's something that content creators like yourself are learning about. But I think if you have great content, you will find an audience. And that audience could be tens of people or tens of millions of people, right? And you'll find real quick, I'm just going to shift.
And Sue is spelled TSU, and I want everyone to know that. And so what type of tools are built for influencers or creators like myself?
That's a great question. So at the core of it is a platform that allows us to distribute content very similar to other social media platforms. But at the core of it, there is a dividend, which is a revenue sharing piece. So as you're probably aware, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google, all of these social media platforms generate revenue through the form of advertising. So we do the same thing. Our business model is the same thing, but the difference is half of the revenue that we generate goes back to the content creators who posted that content on the platform. So that's one tool of it. The second element, which is I think where your question was, is that we want to provide the same, if not better, tools that are available on other platforms. So live video, like we're utilizing right now, filters, meme makers, augmented reality, virtual reality, recipe makers. So a lot of these things are either available now in their basic format, or it's because, again, we're in our alpha version, is that a lot of these things are on the roadmap in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Because as you're aware, as a content creator that distributes on social media, you need to be on par, or you need to have parity with the tools that you offer, because if not, no one's gonna downgrade their ability to create content to go to a new platform. So it's ringing true in the halls of our executive wing that we need to build out these tools as a top priority.
And how many users makes you successful? I'm curious, in the size, scope, and scale of migration of audiences from different platforms to different platforms, what do you constitute, in year one, as success as far as the size of a community?
Right. No, that's a great question. And I sit on the revenue side. So when I'm talking to advertising partners, scale becomes really important, right? So for us to really be able to get the big dollars, the Procter and Gamble, the Coca-Cola, the Target dollars, you need to be in the millions of users. That being said, there is still obviously a way for us to generate money, and we're generating money right now, even though we're in the ballpark 50 to 60,000 users realm. So the more users we have, the more money we make, the more content gets consumed, the more content gets populated into the platform, which is important. So levels of success would be, the thresholds of a couple 100,000 users, which we'll probably reach within the next couple weeks. And then once we get into the end of the year and we're in the single digits, but probably the couple million users, that's when you've ironed out all your bugs. You've gotten the feedback that you need. You're knocking on the door, if not already working with a lot of the Fortune 1000 advertisers and their corresponding agencies. So success to us is sort of a tiered approach.
Sure.
But a couple million, I'd say, is like where everyone kind of has their eyes set.
And when you get there, one of the advantages of, taking a platform that was successful, re-engineering it for what has been accelerated growth and change throughout the last half a decade. But one of the advantages is to look and see through that evolution where you can provide more value than even the multi-billion-dollar platforms that exist. Where are some of the areas that you saw through all platforms needed improvement, which gives you a leg up on all the other platforms.
Right. Yeah. So I think what you're seeing now, with a lot of social media wanting to kind of reverse engineer and get into the realm of paying content creators, I think we are part of that conversation. I think given the fact that we built a platform, or we basically respun up a platform that was built from its origination to revenue share with the ad creators, we've built a payment system that allows you to pull money out of the platform. As soon as you hit a threshold of $15, you can extract that money through PayPal, which is very different than any other platform out there. Granted, YouTube has a creator program where it pays people based on a revenue share, but you have to hit some significant thresholds to be able to sort of at least qualifying for that. So the fact is that we've democratized the paying out of creators for their content. That's one thing that gives us a huge leg up. The other element is being nimble. And what's interesting is, for those of you that are on the platform, we actually created an ad product, which I'm not going to get into right now. But the idea is that we came from ideation to execution in 2 weeks. And it was something that allows us, and allows a lot of small companies, a significant advantage against some of the bigger players. Because, David, if I were to ask you to drop Instagram and come to Sue, you'd probably laugh and say, I'm not dropping my 320,000 followers on Instagram to go to a platform, even if I can make more money there. So we're in this sliding scale of trying to be able to convince big content creators like yourselves to come over and generate revenue on our platform. But we need to have a compelling enough story, and right now that's scale. So the scale becomes really important, which is going to allow us at least a level of parity with other platforms. But being nimble and being already having a basis of being able to calculate and pay out every single user, whether you are a food blogger in Pakistan, or you are an author and a speaker of your caliber in the United States. Everyone has the ability to make money on the platform.
And I see that I see Evan Carmichael, speaking of another great platform person for you, one of my friends and mentors for YouTube, especially, right? Millions of subscribers that he has. Right. One of the things as an investor, as I'm looking at your business, I always have the question, okay, great idea. As it builds, what stops the other platforms just from copying you?
Right. No, and that's a good question. And I think, and I'm not going to say necessarily that we were the impetus for this, but there has been a lot of conversation now from big platforms saying, we're putting creators at the center of our focus. And, we're paying creators. And Quibi came out with a different model, more of a TV model, that basically said, we're going to pay content creators the same way that they would buy a show, or ABC or CBS would buy a show. So that's one element of it. Facebook identified IGTV as an area that they're going to start to monetize for their content creators. Now, granted, it's only a small number. It's about 200 people. But I think you're starting to see this momentum building. One element that I think allows additional competitions, not that anybody else couldn't come in and change our model, although I'd be hard pressed to think that Facebook would start paying out $35 billion, which would be 50% of their revenue, right? They have too much infrastructure to do that. But I do think that the average user globally has about 8 different social media channels that they utilize. And every single channel is a different avenue of content consumption and content distribution. David, what you post on Twitter is very different than what you post on Instagram versus what you post on LinkedIn. So there is room for another channel. I mean, turn on your TV. What are there, 700 channels out there? So consumers have the opportunity to flip back and forth from social media platform to social media platform. And if they feel in the mood for a TikTok versus an IGTV interview versus, scrolling through Instagram of pictures of beautiful beaches, right? So I don't necessarily think that a feature allows you to be defensible in this business at all. But I do think that scale is a defensibility element, and the opportunity of being able to create a unique positive environment for content creators that puts them at the center of what you're doing allows us to be a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think the non-exclusivity of the platforms is to your benefit, where
Right.
someone like me, with a mid-sized following, but an engaged following with a lot of viewership,
Right.
one more platform for me is a matter of, because of the way that I look at content. I create content naturally, right? I kind of capture what I do. Then what I do is modify it, amplified and perpetuated on the different platforms. And so for
Right.
me, why I wanted to have you on too is that, I wanted to understand fully for my audience and myself, how exactly do I capture and modify for your platform and drive, hundreds of thousands of people, accelerate what you're doing. Because
Right.
a lot of, the people who are engaged with me, I have a lot of viewers,
Right.
and then I have followers, but I have a hyper engaged viewership that if there's a different platform, they may enjoy that more and actually subscribe or follow on that platform, which then can be monetized by and shared by both of us instead
Right.
of it going to Facebook.
Right. Yeah. It's a really good question, and we're learning a lot. But one of the things that we've found is that there's an incredibly engaged audience. So we're averaging over 30 minutes a day per daily average user. So that could be the newness, right, of
Yeah.
people building followings and trying to figure out what the platform is all about. But we do get this incredible element of positivity. And it sounds a little bit cliche because everyone talks about the positive community nature of what they're doing. But we really have become social that supports. And the idea is, while anyone can come in the door, whether you are Kim Kardashian or Dwayne The Rock Johnson, anyone can come in the door. But the idea is that every single person feels a sense of support. So the way that our model works is, if you consume advertising, and whether that be user initiated, means you click a button and you support somebody and you get an ad, the ad element is something that when you as a user consume that ad, I know that you, David, the content creator that I enjoy, are getting paid.
Yeah.
And it's different than requiring somebody to pull out their credit card and give you a micropayment or subscribe to a channel. I think people like the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, they've been dealing with that for a long time, and I don't necessarily think they've cracked that nut per se. So with a willing participant, meaning advertisers and brands, if we can have consumers who want to create content, if we can put an ad experience in front of them where essentially the advertisers are paying for this environment, or for this ecosystem, and the consumers, there is a sentiment, almost like a release of endorphins, that when people watch ads and they know that there is a direct payment being made to the content creator of whom's content they're enjoying, there's this sense of being a participant. I'm not just tuning in to your IG conversation. I'm actually helping you earn a living doing what I enjoy that you do. So
Yeah.
there's a sentiment there.
Yeah. And that's proven on TikTok, right? Like, kids are Venmoing
Right.
people who post directly just to support them.
Right. And Twitch has done a good job with that, with tips and stuff. So it's
awesome.
a viable mechanism. But what we're doing is we're basically saying, choose to watch an ad as a format of directly paying these content creators versus the tip environment. So it's just another spin on it. But I think people really do. The value exchange is, I get to consume your content, which I like, but I also get an endorphin release by knowing that I'm doing something for you as well too. Not just a taker, but I'm a giver. I'm not just taking your content. I'm actually giving you something in return. And there's a
now you're talking my language, right? Now you're talking my language, right? Exactly.
Right.
Nothing better than giving and receiving, by the way. But where can people find you and experience this?
Yeah, so it's an invite only app as of now, because we're in invite mode right now. So, but you can go to your Apple store, or you can go to the Android store, and you can download it. And when asked for a code, our business development gentleman who set this up is the one who set the password. So it's at Tiger Knowles 9095. So he's a Clemson Tiger. His wife is Florida State, and they graduated between 90 and 95. So that's a way that people can enter the platform, because it's invite only, but that's a code that they can use. So Tiger Knowles 9095 and come join us.
You got it.
Or you can
I
check
will
us
be
out at
there for sure.
supersocial.com.
I look forward to working with you and going live with you on your own platform someday.
Excellent. Yeah, I would love to have you where the tables are turned. I'll interview you.
That sounds great. We'll just reach out to me, David@dmeltzer.com. We'll make it happen, okay?
Excellent. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, Chris. Take
All right.
care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Look, it's not too late, right? At Tiger Knowles 9095. Thanks, Colleen, putting it up there. I think it's 9095, Jake, not 1995. So 90 and 95 were the 2 years that they graduated their schools. All right. Yeah, we'll get on there and get interviewed, huh, Jakey? Here we go. How to ask for help. Write this down. Do you know anyone that can help me? Do you know anyone that can help me? That's how you ask for help. Very simple. In person, on the phone, via email and media, radio, print, TV. For example, do you all know anyone that can help me? I'm trying to empower over 1 billion people. I do free trainings every Friday. Every Friday. So can you please find or know anyone that can help me to show up for free? Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com to join, or join my text community, 949-298-2905. Let's change the world, create an unconscious competency of happiness. Please, everyone, do you know anyone that can help me? Join me Friday. If they can't come on Friday, have them watch the replays, right? I have everything from sales training to pitch training to ego training to questions, how to ask questions, how to ask for help. I'm asking for your help. Do you know anyone that can help me? David@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Thank you. All righty, next question. What is the best way to find out if the company is a good fit for you? Well, number one, you need to take inventory of your own values. And if a company is a good fit for you, then you will be aligned with their values as well. So by asking open-ended questions, what do you do today? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? You can explore being more interested than interesting of what their values are and how they're aligned with your values. And if they're aligned with your values, then you yourself will know to do business with that person. Remember, don't negotiate to the last penny, always be fair, and don't do business with dicks. All righty, here we go. How can young people learn to work longer? So when I talk about working longer, it's not necessarily hours, right? Because 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. You want to be consistent with your time and focus and attention and intention. But working longer means having a perspective of segmentation. What you're asking is, how do we blend that persistent, tiger-like, fierce-like, productivity, accessibility attitude with patience of allowance? To think long and work long, to me, is to allow things to happen and segment and exponentially grow and accelerate, because our senses can't really pick up incremental growth. Our memories definitely can't pick it up. And so we feel stuck is the only way we know we're growing. We are nothing but a big old foot in a shoe. And so what happens to your foot in a shoe when you're a little kid and all of a sudden you feel stuck in your shoe? Why? Because your foot's growing. But for some reason in business, when our foot's growing, right, we're this big old ugly foot and we're growing, all of a sudden we think stuck means put on the brakes. No, it means accelerate, right? Accelerate with the cognitive ability to see the indicator of pain to make sure that we move in a different direction. Pain's just an indicator that we have a lesson to learn and move in a better direction. But pain and being stuck, that means you're growing. You may have to understand working long means segmentation and being aware of your incremental growth that turns into compound interest, which then turns into exponential growth. Can you say something about stock? Takes a lot of emotion and attention, not for me, but look at your time and risk tolerance if you're going to invest in stocks. Find an expert to help you, but you must first indicate your own time and risk tolerance before you invest in stocks. What age did you start meditating, and do your kids meditate? At times my kids meditate, all four of them. I started 14 years ago in 2006 when I shifted the paradigm of value in my life. Instead of giving to get and trading and negotiating quid pro quo for everything, I then decided that I was going to live with gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration, and receive everything with appreciation to add value and gratitude and give it away and give it all away. I receive so I can give. I don't give so I can receive. What's the best way to tackle advertisements for new companies that have low budget for marketing? Sell through your clients. The best marketing and advertising you can have is to not sell to your clients, but sell through them, meaning that you have to go beyond value when you're selling and have to give them an experience that they're going to tell other people about and encourage and stimulate interest about your product through them. That's the only way to do it with low budget, to raise that awareness and vibration so people can't help themselves but be attracted to what you're doing. When you meet a person for the first time, what do you think first? How can I be of service? So I ask, in order to figure out how I can be of service, I ask what they're doing today, where they're from, really broad, open-ended questions, gathering data, to then ask closed-ended questions to see how they feel about it. Like, do you like it? Do you like it? What don't you like about it? And would it help you if, is how I lead people to see how I can provide value. Would it help you if I babysat for you? Would it help you if I cleaned your car? Would it help you if I gave you a loan? If it would help you if I invested in your company? Would it help you with if I invited you to my training, which, by the way, is this Friday, every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern? Would it help you if you watch the replay, which, by the way, is every day on the playbook? All of them are on there. Playbook can be downloaded on every platform. It's featured on Spotify, Entrepreneur. It's everywhere. Please. That's how you do it, though. Namaste, my friends. All right. Secret to attracting a great team. Well, here's how you attract a great team. You expand and grow, creates a vacuum. You then put out there through your inventory of values, personal, experiential giving, and receiving values, what you want to fill as far as the team you want to build. Don't look at what you don't want, because you're going to build your team with what you don't want. Don't look what other people want, because you're going to build your team with what other people want. When you're expanding and growing and need to build a team, you're expanding and growing and a vacuum is created. You're expanding and growing. You have to align it with your values so your teams have the same values. So when it grows, your whole platform expands with the same values. Don't vote for what other people want. Don't vote for what you don't want, because that's what your team will be. What are your core business? My core business is marketing and media. I speak, write books, I have TV shows, I coach, I have a great podcast. But my mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, to create a collective consciousness of happiness, to change the face of the earth with abundance, that there's more than enough of everything for everyone. That's my mission. And I'm looking for you, 1,000 of you that can come on here, learn at my trainings, learn at my lives. Everything's free. Get my book for free, david@dmeltzer.com. Get my exercises and guides for free, how to ask questions, ultimate ego, the pitch, the 5 to thrive, whatever you want, free. My mission is to empower you with that, empower 1,000 to empower thousands, a million, empower another million is 1 billion. We can do this together, create a collective consciousness of abundance, of happiness. Happiness is the greatest disease. It spreads simply by witnessing it. It'll strengthen you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and even financially. It'll actually strengthen your immune system, so it'll protect you against other viruses. All right, here we go. Let's see. How many people do you think you've empowered to be happy so far? Don't limit yourself, right? Comparison's the thief of joy, as Roosevelt said. I'm empowering as many people as I can. I've detached my emotions from that outcome. I just focus in on every day trying to find that 1,000. And I know that every day I'm finding at least one. I pray to God every morning for at least 10 people I can help. That's my first thing. John Roa, great to see you. Thank you for joining me. What a great interview yesterday was. I knew he'd be up early and ready to go. Catching me on the last minute. You got to check out John if you haven't already. He's in symbiosis with me, trying to empower others to be happy. Very simple. And has walked the walk and learned the lessons, because we both know pain's an indicator. And we've had some in our lives, but it indicated to change direction. Not a break, but a turn signal. Told us to go in a different direction and to be in a better place, to help more people, to make more money, help more people, and have more fun. All right, last question, and then it's daytime. Don't forget to join me every Friday, free trainings, books, guides, everything. Do you believe the younger generation is lazy? Well, to me, a younger generation, what, I'm 52, so that's everybody in the world at 51 and under. Come on, man. Generations aren't lazy, right? They just are focused and pay attention to and give intention to different things. They're not lazy. Think about it. You know, the natural percentages out there are exactly the same as they've always been. You know, hard work is a perspective, right? It doesn't have to be hard. So what my goal is to do is to teach people to be more productive, to add value, to be more accessible, to be accessible to others and access what they want. And most importantly, gracious, you know, to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything you do. No generation is harder working or lazier than another, right? Some generations may be more apt to get their feelings hurt, which I think there's some generations out there that, you know, you hurt my feelings. You know, I'm trying to teach toughness and telephone, change lives, make a distinctive place in the world. But that's just my personal opinion. I think in general, people just change where they focus their attention and intention. If you have any interest in that, I suggest you study history. Study history because you will learn that human nature never changes, and neither do the percentage of people that are lazy. Anyway, everybody, I always enjoy having you here. I appreciate you waking up early from the West Coast. I appreciate you joining me on the East Coast. We do this every day. Go live. We have office hours every day as well. Catch us today at 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time with office hours. Free training. All you got to do is email me. You want a free book, free guide, free training course, and free trainings. You want to go to the replays, just david@dmeltzer.com. If you want to join my text community, it's 949-298-2905. As always, be kind to your future self and do good deeds.